Hello there, everybody. I'm Mel Allen, and this is Baseball Collector.
Yo and hello everybody, Mike here, Baseball Collector, and today I want to do a little talking. I'm going to show a couple cards here in a little bit, but a couple things going on that are really cool. Number one, last night I had Andy on Beyond Cardboard. It was my first episode of Beyond Cardboard that I've done since I moved over to Bench Clear. And JT, Triple Crown 24, was my host, and it was just great talking to Andy, and I appreciate him doing that. And it's been too long coming to finally get him on an episode. But really love doing that. I'd love to hear who you'd like to see me interview on Beyond Cardboard going forward. I have a couple of ideas for guests. And really, it's just an opportunity to let someone come on that the YouTube community can get to know a little bit better. And so let me know who you'd like to see. I'd love to hear it. And if you give a name in the comments that I've already done an episode for, I will put a link in your comment responding to it to show you where that episode is. Because I've done, again, closing in on 20 of those. So lots of fun. Then Jeff, Pat Geek, another member of the Bench Clear Media team, is doing a all-week Greek Freak week, where he is every night going live and opening a box of cards, trying to pull a Giannis rookie card out of different types of products that came out during Giannis's rookie year. He is also giving away a Giannis signed jersey. So if you want to know how to get into that, you need to go watch his stream from last night that he did, where he talks about, it's a Twitter thing, and so go check that out. It's definitely a very cool thing that he's giving away as part of his Greek Freak Week. So very, very cool. Another thing I did, so it's kind of funny, I was talking to Andy and JT after the stream last night and talking about a few things. And one thing that came up was a movie called Pride of the Yankees, which is a movie made in 1942 starring Gary Cooper, surrounding the life of Lou Gehrig. Babe Ruth is in it, and I've never seen it. And I proclaim that Lou Gehrig is my favorite player of all time, and yet I had never seen Pride of the Yankees before. So I went last night and I watched it. It's on Amazon Prime. You can watch it for free if you're a Prime member. And so I went and watched it. I wasn't that impressed, if I'm just being as candid, transparent, and honest as I can be. It made me it looked like they were trying to make Lou Gehrig, well, I don't know if they were trying to do this, but to me it made Lou Gehrig look like a complete doof. And I was like, golly, clumsy and this and that. And I get that he was a soft-spoken, kind of reserved guy, and he was also on a team with Babe Ruth, so he's the most flamboyant guy you can imagine. So anybody would look reserved next to Babe Ruth, but they just made him look like this, really awkward, guy. And I just don't have that image of him or picture of him. And after reading several books about him, that's not the impression that I get. And so, and it was incredibly cheesy. And I guess a movie from the 40s is supposed to be cheesy. There wasn't as much baseball in it as I expected. What else? Babe Ruth was really good in it. I thought that was cool to have him in there. There were several scenes that were included in the movie that didn't happen. Some things about around the World Series and, promising home runs to sick kids in hospitals. And I get they're trying to make the movie as artistic, they're just trying to spice up the movie. But I think Lou Gehrig's life was spiced up enough. Anyway, not overly impressed with that movie. Not saying I'm disappointed that I watched it, but now I can say I've watched it, and there you go. Take that for what you will. All right, next thing that I want to talk about is, a lot of us in this hobby, we are collectors of some certain sport or a player or a team, And we talk about that a lot. But what I don't think we talk about is the underlying sport nearly as much as we probably should, because we're all huge fans of the sport. And maybe it's that, nobody wants to come on here and hear me, give Major League Baseball commentary, but I'm going to today. And it surrounds Fernando Tatis Jr. He is crushing it this year. I mean, he's absolutely murdering the ball. He is a total stud in terms of what he's producing on the field. And the other day, he hit a home run. He hit a grand slam, actually, against the Rangers. So this is against my team that I root for. So I'm going to speak on this. Hits a home run. Hits a grand slam on a 3-0 pitch in a 7-run game. And there are people that, the Rangers got offended. Supposedly they threw it, Machado, I think, the next day or that same day or whatever. I can't remember all the circumstances. But the unwritten rule of not running up the score on a team, I think, is total crap. And this is, again, happened against my team. So this is me speaking not necessarily to lambaste the Rangers, but to say it's the Rangers' job to get him out. It's his job to try to get a hit and try to hit the ball, and produce. No matter what the score is, that is really irrelevant to me. Why should he just lay down and not try to do his best just because they're up 7 runs? That, to me, seems incredibly silly. Now, so you had one unwritten rule, don't do that, which I think is dumb. I mean, again, Tatis is just doing his job. The Rangers should try to do their job, which is get him out. But then now that doesn't mean you're not going to get one, or one of your teammates isn't going to get one in his ear hole, which is what happened. Machado got thrown at, or somebody, again, like I said, I don't remember the details, but that might happen. But that's also part of the unwritten rules of baseball, which some people hate that. I think it's there's a lot to tradition. There's a lot to be said for that stuff. Is some of it silly? Probably. Is it still good for the game? I kind of like that there's some unwritten rules. I like that there are some things that you should and shouldn't do. And trying to figure those out is a lot of the fun too. So I have no problem with what Tatis did. I have no problem with him swinging on the 3-0 pitch and trying to do his best for his team. Good for him. And by the way, 7-run leads aren't as safe as they used to be given the thinness of pitching in Major League Baseball. So to say, he had a 7-run lead, he shouldn't do it, that's crap. So not only do I agree with Tatis swinging away and trying to hit a home run, I also agree with the Rangers throwing at the next guy. That might sound like I'm speaking out of both sides of my mouth, but I'm not. That's the way it is. If Tatis wants to hit, he should hit. There are consequences to that, and the Rangers are paying that price. Now their manager was suspended, the pitcher was suspended, so it doesn't mean there aren't consequences. I just love that dynamic. I love the back and forth and the chess game that goes on within baseball. That's more than just what happens between the lines. So again, there are going to be plenty of people that disagree with that statement, but that's how I feel about it. All right. Man, I got a very, very generous and cool care package that I'm going to turn the camera around here and show you what I got, because it's pretty sweet. Hold on one second. All right, here we go. A little quick backstory on what I'm going to be talking about. So there's a guy on YouTube. His name is Jason. He has a channel called Lord Cardboard. And Jason and I, we've been following each other's channels, I think, for a while. He has an amazing collection, lots of cool stuff that I'm jealous of every time I see it on his channel. He does a lot of PSA reveals, does a lot of slabbing of modern stuff, and he sells a lot of the modern stuff in order to buy other stuff. And I think that's a very effective strategy for people in the hobby. Well, he had a few things that he showed off in his last video, and I was like, hey, I'd be interested in one of these cards. Well, then we finally talked on the phone, which I'd never talked to Jason on the phone. And so it was great to chat with him for a while about the hobby. And I mentioned the card that I wanted. And what I wanted was a Juan Soto. He had a paper update from 2018, and he had a few PSA 9s. And I'm a big believer in just buying 9s, collecting 9s and selling 10s. And so he said that, I already sold them all. I don't have any more. He said, but I have an 8. And I said, well, what do you want for the 8? And he said, well, I'll just give it to you. And I said, really? And so he did. He sent me this very awesome 2018 Topps Update Juan Soto rookie card. And oh, by the way, he sent me a note. I forgot to mention the note. Here it is. It says, hey, Mike, had this Aaron sitting around and know you're a 73 guy, so I figured I'd toss it in. Is the auto real? I don't know. Regardless, it's cool to look at. Enjoy, Jason, Lord Cardboard. And so I'll put a link down to Jason's channel below. You can go check him out for sure. But the Aaron that he's talking about he sent me this, and I was floored when I saw it. And that's when I called him. I called him right up, and I was like, dude, I cannot believe you sent me this. And this is a 73 Topps, so this hits so many things for my collection. I mean, it is like perfect PC item. First of all, Hall of Fame autograph. Yes. One of the greats of all time. Absolutely. Hank Aaron. It's on a player era card. Yeah, absolutely. Doing that too. And, oh, by the way, it's 1973 Topps, which happens to be the year I was born. So, I mean, talk about just a perfect item for my kind of PC. This is it. I've seen a lot of Hank Aaron autographs before. This one looks completely legit. I'm going to have to send... I definitely want to send this in. I'll send it to Garrett, the card cutter, to have him put it in a PSA DNA submission. Mainly just to get it protected. Mainly just to get it authenticated and slabbed. And that's worth, the cost of that to me. And that's just so, so cool. And Jason, you totally didn't have to do that, but I am incredibly grateful that you did. Love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much. And so that's it. That's all I got to show you today. We'll be doing some more videos later this week. I hope you can tune in. Thanks for watching this one, guys. Have a great one and keep collecting.